Hello, welcome to another Spirit Island video. Today I'm going to be facing Habsburg Mining Expedition level 5. On my last one I did level 4 and managed to beat that. So what level 5 adds is it changes the level 3 rule to, instead of just upgrading an explorer after each build step, it also adds a build and then upgrades an explorer. So that just adds a little bit more challenge to this. Today I chose to go with Emberide Behemoth and Deep's Ocean. My mindset with Behemoth is just to stomp out all the mining lands before they can ever ravage, and with Ocean it's to wipe out and just sink parts of the board because you can't have mining lands if there are no lands to mine in. So let's begin. All right, so off the bat, I need to choose a spot to add a presence to. So if they were to explore jungles or mountains and I put a presence there, they would then build there and I would be able to swallow the land dwellers. However, one problem could arise if I were to, because I would have to swallow a Dahan alongside it unless I managed to push it out somehow, which Tidal Boon only targets another spirit. So I'm feeling more inclined to put a presence here on land 2 for my Swallow the Land Dwellers, and then if they explore into either of these, I'll just do a Call of the Deeps to pull an explorer out. And they did do mountains. Okay, so so the plan is just going to be Call of the Deeps, and for my presence on Deep's Ocean, I like going down the top track to get that first water element at the very least, just so I can start placing Deep's tokens right away. So let's add a presence, and we'll go one in my H Ocean and one in my B Ocean. And then I can start placing Deeps tokens. And then I'm just going to do Call of the Deeps. And I will be able to, in my slow, add a Deep to either of these two lands. As for Behemoth, so I could do a Surging Lahar into my land 7 just to kill that town, and then the explorer would kill the Dahan. That wouldn't, if I were to put a presence there first, then I would have the issue of also having a or I would also have a Badlands there afterwards, which then the explorer would kill the Dahan in the Ravage. If I did Blazing Intimidation instead, I would save that for my next turn so I could just push the explorer in town out of there and maybe even put them into just my land 6, Surging Lahar into here this turn so I can get Badlands and then just start stomping. I am thinking I might go more in that direction. So let's... So the question is, do I want to do my right, or do my one presence add or my 2 presence add? I think I might wait on this one because this just gives me some flexibility next turn where I can add going into my jungle 4. For now, let's just add a presence, or let's gain a power, and let's just go for a good miner. So Animated Rack Root lets me destroy an explorer in one of my lands or add a wilds in one of my lands. I can use that to start cleaning up, back, or just start creating a pocket back here pretty quickly, because if I just destroy everything with stomps up here, that'll help me to pretty rapidly create a good pocket. Let's see, Call to Trade lets me gather a Dahan. Roiling Bog lets me defend. If I did do Roiling Bog, then I would be able to get not have to push out of here, and I do have Sacred Sites pretty consistently. This is also on just as much on my elements as Rackroot. I think Roiling Bog seems pretty powerful here, so let's go for that, and we'll add a presence. And that presence will come from bottom track. I can just start playing, just immediately go to 2 card plays and start stomping things. And let's start by going into here. And then we'll discard a card with fire. Now I could do my Terrifying Rampage next turn to make sure that they don't blight on my B2. So for this turn, let's do Surging Lahar. Oh wait, whoops. No, I didn't mean to discard that. My bad. I want to play my Surging Lahar this turn. So let's discard a power card with fire. And we'll get rid of Roiling Bog. And then we'll play our Surging Lahar. We'll play our Exaltation. And then next turn, we'll draft a card and hopefully grab one with fire as well, so we can play our Blazing Intimidation and Terrifying Rampage. Otherwise, I can also just do 2 off of top track to do... in fact, that's what I will do. I'll just go 2 off of top track, get the 2 energy. That'll be able to pay for both of these. And then on my turn 3, I'll Reclaim and Empower. Okay, so let's do a Call of the Deeps. Get some drowning going. And then I'm going to leave my Incarna here just to do stomping. Alright, and then I have to do a second build and upgrade something. So let's build here and upgrade. And then we can do one. So they're going to be blighting there, and after they blight, they're also going to, so they're not cascading, so that's not going to be, or actually they are going to blight and then cascade the next turn. So let's do my build and upgrade. Somewhere closer to my coast probably, and somewhere where my behemoth can add double presence and stomp out later. Okay. Now let's go ahead and add a deeps, and I think behemoth will kind of have this covered themselves, so I'm gonna just start working towards sinking lands, and we'll do a reclaim, which doesn't really do anything. Exaltation, we'll just add a wilds there, and we'll add a wilds here. Surging Lahar, 2 damage. Stomp, 3 damage. Okay. And then we can, let's see. All right, so we're gonna want to move these up to here, so I can stomp them as well. So let's, let's push my presence out of there and then put it back in there next turn after I do my Blazing Intimidation. So we'll go ahead and do some presence. And then Intimidation, Rampage, and then on Ocean, let's... So there's nothing Ocean can really do over here. I mean, I could actually just... I could use my Grasping Tide to defend there, but there are no Dahan there, so it might just not be... might not be all that useful. Now, because I have this here, I can actually Tidal Boon into this Ocean as well, which would be really great. However, in order to do that, I actually need to not push this presence out of that Ocean. So let's add a presence to each Ocean again. And we'll just go for 1 energy and up to 2 card plays. And let's just go both of them here. And then we'll do Tidal Boon, and yeah, there's really just nowhere that I can effectively Grasping Tide. So we'll just swallow the Land Dwellers in case they explore or something, except that's not even all that useful, but I just want to get my 2 deeps out as quickly as I can, so let's do that. Okay, so we're gonna Terrifying Rampage here, Blazing Intimidation here, and they will be Ravaging there now. I can tolerate the Blight though, because I'll just be stomping there now, and they won't be building a city. And I'm not going to push my Incarnate yet, so let's finish. Okay, so we add a land to, or add an Explorer to land with Blight on each board. Let's just do that here and there. Push up to 2 Explorers or 1 town out of a land with Beasts. Okay. I'll make... Okay, so when I stomp, I'm going to be hitting for a total of 4 damage. So let's just let's not do more here, because I want to kill those 2 towns. And then, yeah. Okay, and then over here, I can't stop this from blighting, but I can at least... I can bring more stuff closer to the ocean. Alright, yeah, so I'm gonna push this here so that it dies in the Ravage to that Dahan, and I'll push this one here. Okay. In each land with towns or cities, I do 1 damage per Dahan. So actually, we will push a town there so that the town just dies. And then this one, I'll still push here. No, here, because then it kills itself too. In each land, yep, so there we go. So let's get these 2 in the Ravage, and then there we go. Okay, and we'll go ahead and just do that build and upgrade in here. and we'll do it in here. Okay, now, so I don't have a good Swallow the Land Dwellers target, but I can do Tidal Boon, push that, and we'll also push this to the ocean so I can move it into a coastal land. Or actually, no, let's just push it back here. Yeah, because then that explorer will die in the Ravage. We'll swallow, does nothing though. And then our water eats away. We'll put deeps here, and then let's go ahead and we can start chipping away over here as well, but this reclaimed will kill that city. And then over here, we're going to push and stomp. Perfect. Okay, so now we can empower our Incarna. And let's see, we can let's just move it over here, just in case I want to do another Blazing Intimidation play or something. And then all right, so now that we have an actual pocket, I want to maintain that pocket by isolating this land here. And then I just need a fire earth for the rest of this. I think I'm going to do a Surging Lahar just to continue adding more Badlands around. I can put it into my jungle, and that'll be a really effective use of it. And now I've fully prevented a build over here, which also prevents a Ravage later. So I think I want to gain a power card, hoping for like anything with moon water, ideally, or if not, just water by itself. And then I can reclaim next turn. Okay, I suppose just water has to be ideal, but some defense over here is nice. And we'll add a presence to a coastal land. I will put one over here. Get that extra earth element for the drowning later, and we will push a presence out of each ocean. So let's put one here. And then this one can go here for more range into things. Elusive Ambushes, Grasping Tide. Perfect. And so now I still have the double add, or the double drown. I still have the double, the double deeps. And yeah, so let's begin that. So we'll Grasping Tide here. Oops. Oh wait, oh no, Elusive Ambush is there, my bad. Defend 4. Little Grasping Tide. Let's see. So Roiling Bog will go there. And then the Grasping Tide I can use to just stop an edge case from happening there. And then that'll be it. Okay, so for the rest of this turn, don't generate fear after destroying towns or cities. Okay, that's not great. I'm going to be destroying quite a few. In the land with the most combined invaders and Dahan, add a disease and do 2 damage to Dahan. So let's, yeah, okay, we added these there and there. Okay, so that does stop that build at least, and this ravage still at least kills a town. Nice. All right, remove an explorer from a land matching a ravage. So now this is no longer a problem. Actually, I think I'm going to remove this because it's just getting a little closer to the HME win condition after it ravages and blights. So let's stop that, and then let's also just remove one from over here. Get a little closer to that perfect pocket. And then down here, we'll just add 2 damage. All right, and then they're going to build and upgrade. I don't want to let that, if they do explore jungles here, I would like to not have the adjacency there, though this is actually isolated, so that's still not a problem. However, I think I might want to do a Surging Lahar. Since I'm doing Surging Lahar here anyways, and also double stomping, I think this is going to be better. And then as for here, wetlands is sort of out of play. Disease also actually stops the build. And then it's also closer to being drowned. So let's do it here. And it is jungle, so that pocket is protected. Now, okay, I also have to do double explore. So let's explore here and here. And then on this board, we'll explore here and here. Okay, so now let's add some more deeps. Continue building towards that drown. So we'll add there. And we'll add here. And then we can do a reclaim. Perfect. All right, and now Surging Lahar over here. 2 damage. And then we'll move our presence into here. And we'll stomp. Perfect. No builds are happening on Behemoth's lands. Okay, now we're gonna reclaim. And nice thing is I'll be able to drown the town that comes here when I just play my when I put deeps down there. So let's gain a power, and I think I can start leaning into a major here. Okay, so Blazing Renewal, don't have the elements to really do that extra damage, nor do I have any destroyed presence except for one on here. Cleansing Floods is super easy for me to threshold, but I also don't have presence in, or I do have presence in that wetland at least, I guess. And then I can start actually removing Blight, which also helps. Sweep lets me drown things like crazy, and I love that for me. And Unearth the Beast doesn't really help. Let's go with Sweep. And then I think... So Elusive Ambushes still helps there. So let's get rid of one that doesn't have my mountain presence on it, or my earth presence on it. Or element, I mean. So it's between Grasping Tide and Call of the Deeps. Honestly, with elusive ambushes, I think this does better for me than Grasping Tide ever can. So I think I'm going to get rid of the also Call of the Deeps has now become less needful. Now I could so I can either stop the build here by destroying the town with Deeps tokens, or I can stop the build here by just drowning the Explorer. I think I might actually just want to drown the Explorer and do my Deeps elsewhere. Maybe start the Coastal Lands card doesn't exist with HME, so I can just drown things. I could even drown this land and this land this turn, which would be a good thing because that's one less mining land on every turn. So let's forget. Actually, let's forget elusive ambushes, and then we will gather a presence out of here and here because I want a presence in my repeat land. We'll do Call of the Deeps. And sweep into the sea. And then next turn I can do my reclaim with these cards and just some presence. I can get up to 3 card plays, or I can get that extra water out of here. Okay, and then for Stompy here, so they're gonna be ravaging there with the mining land, and that's gonna be causing issues like getting dangerously close to a win condition. So I honestly might just want to sacrifice one of my presents just so I can create a sacred site there, move Stompy in there, and clean that out a little. Because if I go up to 3 card plays, I'll be able to play out my hand. And then one of my presents there will be destroyed by the Ravage, but I do have this big stomp coming up. And then we will move this over to here. Great. All right, so now Blazing Intimidation can be used to stop the Ravage there. And then Terrifying Rampage. Is there anywhere useful to use that? Not particularly, but it does just, I do have that pocket expanding. Now they can't explore into that mountains either. Or this wetland. So this pocket is three lands are just completely off limits for an explore at the very least. Let's Terrifying Rampage here just in case something else happens. And then we'll also do a Call of the Deeps. Get rid of these 2. And we'll finish using powers. Alright, after advancing invader cards, we perform a build step for 1 terrain not shown under any invader action. Every beast deals 2 damage, so this clears my land 4. Add a Dahan to a mountains or sands with Dahan. So let's do it here so that these Dahan will clear that in the Ravage, and we'll add one over here as well. Okay, gather up to 1 explorer into a land with 2 or more invaders. This jungle's clear, this jungle's clear. So let's gather one out of here. Just for the sake of safety, and also then that's one less salt deposit actually to explore into. Okay, and then over here, let's gather out of here. Okay, we will ignore you, ignore you. We will not count my sacred site as a present, or my incarnate as a presence. Okay. And we have to upgrade one of these. And then we also build and upgrade somewhere else. Let's do it here. And we have to build and upgrade somewhere else. Let's do it here. Because that's a good spot to drown anyways. Okay. So, let's do a build. There. Okay. So now all of these still aren't doing anything at all. Let's do an exaltation of grasping roots. And we'll go ahead and just throw another wilds there, and then let's add a wilds back over here. Just maintain the pocket, and then we'll stomp. Let's see. And then we'll stomp again. Perfect. And now that's just one little town instead of the big problem it was. And then we'll go ahead and add more deeps. So let's add a deep here and a deep here. And then we'll let's see. So if I use sweep into the sea right now, then in land 7, then that becomes a problem of not having a problem of it becoming a salt deposit land. So let's push out of here at least. So if I do that, then they blight in the Ravage. So let's not do that either. So let's sweep into the sea on here. That way, this pocket's just expanded even deeper. And then we'll reclaim. Perfect. Okay, and now I've got good lands to reclaim this turn too, and even lands to sink. So let's add presence. And we can either go up to 3 card plays right off the bat, or we can just get that water element. I think we should get the water element, and then next turn we can actually just draft another power and go up to 3. So let's go here and here. Grasping Tide will not not do anything actually. So swallow, tidal boon, or swallow, grasping tide, because I want the tidal boon to be available next turn for another drown. All right, and then as for you, I need to reclaim, and I don't have a ton of energy. Let's just gain another miner. And constancy, rivers, I like all of those. I like that teaming rivers lets me get rid of a blight over here or here. I also like domesticated animals go berserk to just defend here, though I would prefer to just be able to stomp things. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna be going with a surging Lahar and exaltation and let's see, something else. So let's just grab a gift of constancy, and then we'll do a surging Lahar. We'll do a exaltation, and now I can either go for a bigger stomp in wherever I go, or I can just stay with this, and I think that would actually be fine. So I think I want to do a let's do a gift of constancy. Because then I can just stomp here and then stomp in one of the salt deposits and turn it into a non-mining land. Okay. Yeah. So we will let's grasping tide here just in case of an edge case. And then we can do a gift of constancy here. Yeah, and then we can no, I would like to just defend actually. So let's defend. Let's do Whirling Bog. And we'll just do that there. And we'll do a Grasping Tide here. And then that's it. Okay, so each of us has to destroy a presence. Let's get rid of this one. And we'll just get rid of one of my many in the ocean. Okay. So we choose a land with disease. Each spirit with leads to Dahan. Reclaims. Nothing happens. Okay. So this will not be building. If I remove that town, I can actually just stop that build entirely now. And then I can probably just move into here or something. I can also remove here. That'll also stop a build. Let's remove here because I don't want a city build. And then, let's see. let's remove out of here. Okay. And then we'll do a build and upgrade into there. And we'll do a build and upgrade into here. Beautiful. Okay, so let's... Alright, we gotta do our explorers as well. So let's explore into... here and... here. And then over on this board, we'll go here, here. Alright, now... Or actually... No, yeah, let's swallow the land dwellers. And we'll do water eats away. And let's sink over here. And then we'll add one there. Or actually, we'll add here and here. And then we'll do a reclaim by the deeps there. Sink this side, sink this board, or this land. Perfect. Actually, let's push that over here. And then we'll do a reclaim by the deeps. Oh, I think I actually need to just repeat this here. So we'll just hit it twice. Yep. We'll just sync that, and then we'll sync this next turn. We can push you to the sands. And then we'll do another exaltation of grasping roots there. And let's also put one here. And then we'll move our presence there. We'll Lahar. And then Stomp. And then let's push a Dahan out to here. And then we can stomp there. And then we'll stomp again. Perfect. Okay. Now this land 1 is getting a little closer to our lose condition than I'd like. So that's one to consider for later. All right, so let's go for a major here. All right, so Vengeance of the Dead improves my stomps a little bit more. Grant Hatred doesn't really... Let's see, I've got Blight in some places at least. I don't really have the elements for it though. Entwined Power could be interesting. Let's see. I do have the elements for the Entwined Power if I just forget Exaltation, which is the first one on the chopping block anyways. And then Fragments lets me just reset a land, essentially. Okay, and then with Fragments I can also threshold that in the moon direction at least. And that could help with the that could actually just help with the future stuff that's going on. I just don't really have the energy to play it though, unless I gift of constant. Like I could just pull off a top track here and then also gift of constancy myself later, but let's see. I'm more into the entwined power for some extra targeting and everything. Though ocean isn't all that useful in the targeting either. Let's do the fragments of yesteryear. I've never really used it. I'll forget Roiling Bog, and we'll add a presence. Let's add all right, let's see. Let's add right over here. Yeah. And I'll do my fragments of yesteryear next turn. Maybe. I want to... And I just don't want to use that fragments of yesteryear is the problem. So let's actually just do Grat and Hatred and forget Roiling Bog, and then add that presence still. And then let's discard a power card with fire on it. And let's discard our Grant Hatred, play it another turn. Okay. And then Ocean can now gain a power, and if it has any water on it, then I get to drown. Let's grab another major. Unrelenting Growth, perfect. That's what we want to see. And we'll forget our let's forget Call of the Deeps. Add a presence. Let's go up to 3 card plays, and we can use that on our next turn. And then we'll push a presence from each ocean. Let's go from here to here. And then we'll push from here over here. And then we'll just play Tidal Boon, Unrelenting Growth. Okay. Now let's do a Gift of Constancy. I can stop a Ravage, so let's stop this one. We can Blazing Intimidation, drown some pieces. And then they also just don't build anymore. Actually, oh, they're going to be double ravaging if I don't Terrifying Rampage there. So let's Terrifying Rampage here. I have to push 3. So let's push him out of here. Blazing Intimidation, this one. And then, I can start, I'm gonna decide where to move this presence for the stomping next, or in the slow, probably to my sands though. And things are looking pretty good. Okay. So let's destroy presence. I want to keep that in range of things, so let's just destroy there, and then we'll destroy out of my ocean. All right, remove 1 per player. Okay, let's just remove 1 from the card. That's fine. Remove 1 from the card. Isolate a land with beasts. When fear of invaders are present. Great. On each board with 5 or more Dahan, add a Dahan to the land with the most Dahan. Okay. We'll add 1 here. There we go. Coastal land with Dahan. All right. I can stop this from ravaging. There we go. And then, yeah, I'll just let you go too. Let's get the next normal explore. Add a strife in a land. Okay, yeah, so we'll stop you from causing any trouble. So Behemoth, yeah. We'll upgrade you, and then we'll ignore these 2. Again, ignore these 2. And then let's build here and upgrade there. And then we will build here and upgrade there. Perfect. And then I'll sink this land. Now let's do our water eats away. And then we can also add a deeps here. Let's see, who do I want to add presence out of? I think it would be cool if I added out of you. So let's Unrelenting Growth and go up to 4 card plays. Or actually, wait. Let's wait on that Unrelenting Growth actually until after I sink. So let's reclaim here. Push these deeps. Let's see, if I push to here, then I can sink that later, and then we'll reclaim here and push these over here. And then I can do my Unrelenting Growth. Let's see. So let's just push here. Or actually, you know what? I think it's time to start moving you back over here now that things are a little more dicey. Because that way I can do my tidal boon. Huh. No, let's see. Okay. Unrelenting growth. Where do I want that to go? So let's do it for you, so I can have a better land to send all this stuff into. And let's send these presents into my wetlands. Let's go off of top track. And then we will move you. And then let's just stomp. Perfect. Okay, and then tidal boon lets you push that into the ocean. There we go. Now let's it doesn't really matter either way, honestly, but I could also just continue at 2 card plays and tidal boon again, guarantee my yeah, I think that works, because then I can guarantee my drowning again. And then for you, we'll Blazing Intimidation. And then I think I'm just gonna reclaim, gain a power, and I think I just want to gain a major. Okay. Is there a good land to use Rapid Wings of Sunlight out of? Not really, unless I like do a double move. Actually, no, I can't even do that. The Han are all over here and over here. Trees Radiate doesn't let me target that. Bargains doesn't help. So I think I'll let's just do Trees Radiate. And we won't really do anything with that, actually, so let's just get rid of it. And then we'll just use our card plays. Surging Lahar, Blazing Intimidation. There we go. Stops that. Lets me stomp. And yeah, there we go. Yeah, I'll push these over here and then stomp, and then I can work on these. Now Ocean, let's just try to find again any card with water, and maybe a major at that. Accelerate a Rot, not all that useful. Bloodrack Plague or Spill Bitterness. Spill Bitterness pretty much clears. No, well, yeah, it does actually. So Spill Bitterness does kind of just clear both of these problems at the cost of adding one blight and a cascade. Accelerate or blood rack plague lets me stop that ravage. And then trees and stones doesn't do anything. So let's do blood rack plague and forget unrelenting growth. Add a presence. And push a presence. There we go. Okay. And then, oh yeah, this has to push as well. I'll push to here. Okay. Still drowning, and great. So we can blood rack plague, and then blazing intimidation. And then we will wait. All right, we need to destroy a presence. Yep. At this point, I do feel more confident in destroying this one since it's fully pocketed out, and Ocean can destroy this. Skip the first Ravage action. Okay. Yeah, we can do that. So we'll skip a Ravage. Yep. So we'll skip a Ravage here, add a Blight there, and then confirm. For you, let's just destroy 2 presents off of this board. So we'll destroy 1 here and 1 here. And then yeah, we'll skip that Ravage. Add a beast to a sands. Resolve. Let's do that. Okay. So let's skip that. We can skip this one. Yeah, sure. Yeah, okay. And then we can, let's do that build and upgrade there. And we'll do our build and upgrade. Let's see, so if I build and upgrade, then I can't drown that anymore. So let's do it over here. Okay. Now, how close am I to Terra level 3? Not all that close. Okay. We'll explore here. And we'll explore here. Okay. Now, all right, let's see. Let's go ahead and let me let Stompy here feed me. And then we can do a Surging Lahar. We'll go ahead and do a Grant Hatred, a Ravenous Form. No longer a mining land. And then we'll push you. And stomp. And then we'll just stomp again for the beer. Okay, and now we can sink you. And we'll sink you later. And then let's go ahead and reclaim by the deeps. Then reclaim. Actually, it's more beneficial to use my repeat here, so we'll just reclaim by the deeps. And then reclaim by the deeps. And we'll move this into here. Okay. Now, we can... So they're only ravaging salt deposits, which means they're only ravaging here and here. I got a reclaim. So let's gain a power. Let's just gain a minor this time because I'm going to do sweep into the sea. And we can do a nature's connection. And then we'll also have to gather into each ocean. So we'll go out of here and out of there. And I can do a nature's connection. I can do a blood rack plague. And then I just need anything with water and moon. So let's do a grasping tide, just to defend here. And then up here, let's finish off my presence there. So let's add out of that. And then let's go here. Okay, and then we can just use our full innate now somewhere. Okay, finish. Grasping Tide. Awesome, so now we're at Terra level 3. I'm gonna do a Nature's Connection on myself so I can do that Blood Rock Plague fully thresholded. And oh, I don't have enough beast actually, so never mind. So actually, let's do it so I can get my 3 that. So let's gain 2 of a single element. Let's just gain 2 oh wait, no, that doesn't work either. Okay. Well, in that case, let's just give me 2 energy. And then I will Blood Rack Plague, stopping that ravage. And then we'll do a Gift of Constancy. And a Terrifying Rampage in case of some tragedy. And then, yeah, that's it. Destroy presence. Let's go out of here and out of here. All right. Add a blight. So we're not hitting any blight this turn, so let's just add a blight here. And then up here, let's add a blight there. Okay, each beast destroys an explorer. Perfect, stops a build. Stops another build. Or health of invaders. Okay, so let's remove. Actually, that's an instant win. All right. It seems that the plan worked out. So Emberite Behemoth was able to basically just consistently maintain nothing existing on his board. And then then Ocean's Hungry Grasp was able to consistently just start drowning stuff, and there were a lot of blight taken on that land, but luckily the blight card I got was actually really nice for this matchup, because I had a lot of blight to work with in the pool. So that is a good game.